Imagine you are standing on the edge of a cliff, looking out at a vast, dark ocean. Two men stand beside you. The first man, dressed in a Roman toga, places a hand on your shoulder and says, "Stand tall. It is your duty to hold your ground, to accept the wind, and to act with virtue regardless of the storm." This is the Stoic. The second man, dressed in a 19th century coat, laughs at the ocean and says, "Why does it matter? The cliff will erode, you will die, and the ocean doesn't know your name. Jump, dance, or scream. It makes no difference." This is the nihilist. These are the two dominant operating systems for the modern mind. As traditional religion fades in the West, people are flocking to these two ancient poles. On one side, we have the bros of Stoicism, preaching discipline, cold showers, and control. On the other side, we have the doomers of nihilism, preaching that society is broken, the planet is dying, and trying is futile. But which one is true? Does life have inherent structure, or is it a random accident? The motivationairy answer is that both are dangerous if taken alone. Stoicism without nihilism becomes rigid and repressive. Nihilism without Stoicism becomes depressive and lazy. To survive the modern world, we must understand the battle between the order and the void. Let's start with the Stoic case. Stoicism, championed by figures like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, is a philosophy of defense. It emerged in a time of chaos, the crumbling Roman Empire, as a way to remain sane. The core psychological premise of Stoicism is the dichotomy of control. There are things you can control, your thoughts, your actions, and things you cannot, the weather, the economy, death. The Stoic argues that anxiety comes from trying to control the uncontrollable. Meaning, therefore, is not found in the result, winning the war, getting rich, but in the action, fighting well, working hard. To a Stoic, the universe has a logos, a divine rational order. You are a cog in a machine. Your job is not to ask, "Why am I a cog?" but to be the best cog you can be. This gives life immense weight. Every action matters because it is a reflection of your character. If you wake up late, you aren't just missing an alarm, you are betraying your nature. This philosophy builds incredible resilience. It creates men who can endure torture, poverty, and loss without breaking. But it has a flaw. It can be exhausting. It demands constant vigilance. It creates a heavy burden of duty that can crush the joy out of spontaneity. It turns life into a test that you can never stop taking. Then we have the nihilist case. Nihilism comes from the Latin word nihil, meaning nothing. It argues that there is no logos, there is no grand plan. The universe is a cold, mechanical accident that has existed for 13 billion years and will eventually freeze into heat death. In this time frame, your life, your stress about your job, your heartbreak, your legacy, is mathematically irrelevant. Friedrich Nietzsche, the philosopher most associated with this, famously warned, "God is dead." He wasn't celebrating, he was terrified. He realized that without a divine structure, humans would lose their compass. They would look into the abyss, and the abyss would stare back. Modern passive nihilism is the result of this. It is the attitude of "why bother?" It is the person who plays video games for 12 hours a day because the world is ending anyway. It is a philosophy of surrender. But paradoxically, nihilism offers a strange kind of relief. If nothing matters, then your mistakes don't matter. If you embarrass yourself, who cares? You'll be dead in 80 years. If you fail at business, so what? The sun will still explode. Nihilism strips away the ego. It creates a weightlessness. It frees you from the pressure of destiny. So, how do we reconcile these two? How do we find the motivation to work hard, Stoicism, while knowing that the work is ultimately pointless, nihilism? The answer lies in a synthesis known as optimistic nihilism. This is the philosophy of the Motivationairy. It accepts the nihilist premise. The universe has no inherent meaning, but it rejects the nihilist conclusion. Therefore, I should do nothing. Instead, it pivots to, therefore, I am free to create my own meaning. If the universe doesn't give you a purpose, you are not a slave to a destiny. You are the architect. You can decide that your purpose is to build a house, or to raise a child, or to paint a picture. The meaning is not out there waiting to be discovered. It is in here waiting to be created. This is where we bring Stoicism back in. Once you have chosen your meaning, that's the nihilist freedom, you pursue it with discipline, that's the Stoic duty. You use Stoicism as the tool to execute the project that nihilism allowed you to choose. This fusion creates a superpower called amor fati, a Latin phrase used by Nietzsche which means love of fate. It is the ultimate acceptance. It means you do not just tolerate your life, you love it, the good and the bad, the pain and the boredom. You accept that you are a tiny spark in a dark void, and that is exactly why you must burn brightly. Because the void is dark, your light is the only thing that exists for you. Does life matter? To the universe? No. To you? Yes. And since you are the one living it, your opinion is the only one that counts. The Stoic gives you the strength to climb the mountain. The nihilist reminds you to enjoy the view, because the mountain isn't going to be there forever. So, get up. Do the work. Not because you have to, but because you get to.